Hi guys, and welcome back to another exciting installment of The Boys in the Pod. Today I am your host, Turtle Guy. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, Cyberprime and Dave Kivo, friend of the channel.
Yay, you said me first. Good to know that the
It
money
is
is
your
being paid
channel.
off. Well, I mean, is this? I don't even know. Is this gonna? Let's peek behind the curtain. We don't actually know where this is getting uploaded technically, because there
If
may
we
be a
get
dedicated
uploaded.
YouTube channel for this.
No, no,
But
no, no. We'll put this on a USB stick and put
ah,
it
yeah,
in the
we'll mail it to
middle
all
of
the
nowhere.
subscribers. You have to
Put it in the
you have to
woods.
go to onto like an email thing and then type your. Don't actually do this,
Yeah,
but
we'll
we'll
do
just
like a
post it to
Gravity
you.
Falls hunt type thingy. We'll
Oh, we
leave a bunch of
should.
clues and
If you're
stuff.
listening to this, the
We
bodies are
should.
buried underneath the peninsula.
That was
Oh
3 seconds.
god.
Like, okay, what was that? That was like less than a minute. David's already mentioning dead bodies. That was
Yeah.
literally like
Is
less than
that Dead
60
Bodies
seconds.
and Lost? Is that two drinks? Is
No,
that
he didn't
two
mention.
haven't
He didn't
mentioned
mention
Lost.
Lost yet. Didn't mention. Oh well, now he did. But okay, but
Well,
yeah,
now I guess. Well, no, I was rebuttaling your argument. That
yeah.
doesn't
Well,
count.
it still happens. You still mention it. For another peek behind the curtain, we were literally saying there could have been a drinking game on the channel about how often David mentions
There
the
might be
property
a
known as
drinking game.
Lost, and also just dead bodies and murder and crime in general.
And the
So yeah,
mummy.
and the mummy, and the mummy. Don't forget the
The
mummy.
mommy.
The Mummy, the Murder, and the Lost. That's my book coming
You
soon.
That
don't
actually
really
sounds like a
mention
cool name.
Homelander or the boys on recording, but outside of recording, all he ever
He
mentioned.
communicates
We're getting-
through Homelander gifts, and that's not actually a joke, and it's very impressive.
This is not a joke. This is not a goof. This is us being dead serious.
This is
And if
not as real.
Cyberprime and Turtle Guy end up like charred corpses and David is still alive,
Oh, I thought you were
know
going to
what
do.
happened.
I thought you were doing like an apology video spoof there. That was a weird energy that you were doing that with.
Yeah, there was a really weird. Like, why did you sound like you were reading off a script there?
To
It's
make
true,
sure
though,
that the Turtle Guy hosted episode of the podcast goes right, I've scripted everything I'm going to say. Like anytime
You already
like, I have-
misspoke in the first sentence.
Your first 3 words.
maybe
I
that
actually,
was a scripted misspoke.
my gallery is like mostly Homelander stuff. Like my recent gallery, it's like all clips because I'm just
I'm
ready
convinced
to
you
reply
just
to anything.
like you record episodes of the boys and just chop it up into clips for use.
Nah.
Specifically
me,
Homelander scenes.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know anything else. It's just Homelander.
So, gents, how are we doing this fine day? Do we have any small talk, any wild
I'm
stories?
good. I kind of have a
before we-
follow up to the weird religious letter.
Oh,
Oh,
really? A
okay.
sequel? Whoa, okay.
Yeah, if we
Sequel.
wanna, I probably should have had this ready to go before the podcast. You guys do a little bit of small talk. I'll be just
Oh, okay.
a
Well,
mo.
Okay, well, I am almost a.
I have it.
Okay.
Go for it. No,
No,
continue.
no,
You make finish your point.
No,
Finish
I
your
feel
point.
I
finish
feel
your
bad now. It's fine. You go. Just go ahead.
Point. No,
That's
God,
so
it's
No,
fine.
no, no. It's fine. Go
the
ahead.
viewer will want to hear what you're about to say. We can't.
Okay, I am nearly an internationally trained barista now, and the only reason I say internationally trained like it's a fucking spy is because that's what the certificate will say when I get it. But I nearly
Could you?
am a
Could
fully
you
trained.
go to the other? Could you go to Australia and you're still you show up the certificate and they'll let you behind the.
Well, yeah, it's good for the CV. I can use machines. I know how to clean them. I know how to do
Donatello
coffee art.
over
I'm not
here.
necessarily great at it, but I'm still learning. And in order to do that, I think I made 17, 18 coffees in one day, and I drank
make a
like
tea?
half of them. And I was
Hell, man.
buzzed that day, but it was great. It was really cool.
See,
Oh,
coffee.
so-
The thing about drinking a lot of coffee for me is it's not the energy and like the caffeine that gets me. It's just
Yeah.
it's very filling. It's very
No,
filling.
yeah, I like it. I just like that it's
No,
warm.
no,
It
the
doesn't
coffee
actually
does
get me hyper, but I never had that
No, me
much in
either.
one day, so I think that
Yeah, I
did help.
think I would do it for anyone.
I
But I
did.
never really get the effects of caffeine either. Yeah.
No, yeah, I
think you
tried
told me.
Monster as well, but we're definitely saving that for another
Cyber,
podcast.
you've
but-
traded one
Yeah,
addiction for
addictions
another.
podcast. I'm
Yeah,
glad,
you
but
say-
I think just to brief it, the way I chew gum, if someone even smoked a
What?
cigarette near me, I'd be addicted to cigarettes. I chew gum so incredibly. Like I have to have minimum 3 pieces at once in my mouth, and if I don't do it, I'll start biting my nails and craving it. Like I need to just do something with my mouth. Don't take that one out of context. Anyway,
Oh,
follow up to
okay.
the
Do you
follow
have
up
the
to
religious
the-
letter?
follow up to it. So we got the letter. I read it on a previous podcast, and then my dad found it. Not that I hid it. Like he just read it, and I was. And the guy had left his phone number, so my dad sent him this. And now, obviously, I won't include our address, but he said, "This is," and then our address. Please desist with your religious letters and leaflets. I have no interest in your passionate subject. I'm tired of being greeted with this stuff every week, and we haven't gotten anything from him again.
That's
But,
pretty fair.
Is this a weekly occurrence? Was he like every week?
Apparently so. It's the first one I've ever seen, but that's only because I ran to the door thinking my comics had arrived, and I just got greeted by that.
It's a sad day. You run to the door, you get a package, and it's just like bills and the IRS like, hey, give us money.
That's certainly a topic you are very passionate about.
Oh, packages, deliveries.
Well, speaking about a topic, that's a good topic for another day. But today's topic is something that we've already done on the podcast. It's how to
What?
start a conversation. Shut up.
What?
It's how
When
to
did we do
start
that
a
in the podcast?
We're doing one right now.
Oh, that's a meta thing. Like we're starting to talk. Turtle guy
This
is
has fucking layers, bro.
yeah. Turtle
Okay,
guy is
so let me
bringing in deep.
explain what I want. You can either do personal stories or you can do like a really stupid fucking way to start a conversation. So do you
Okay.
want an example or do you think you got it?
Hit us with an example.
Okay, so how would I start a conversation? Well, I got a couple ideas. So number one, I'd figure out where someone is. I want to start a conversation with a new person. So I got a couple ideas. Number one, it's a classic. Pretend to be stabbed. Get a fake knife, get some fake blood, blurt it all over, come in and be like, "Oh, I've been stabbed," and thus the conversation has begun. But again, that's a little violent.
You have to
because
pretend that you're
eventually,
dying
in
the
time-
entire time. That's not a
Well,
conversation.
no.
All the conversation will be like, "Oh, I need a med bag." That's all it's
Again,
gonna
yeah,
be.
that's what I thought. It's a little bit too. It's a bit messy. So, plan B, hostage negotiator. Either I become a hostage negotiator and I can talk to the guy, or I
Or you
hold
hold
some
someone
people
hostage.
Yeah, and then I get to talk to the hostage negotiator.
Why am I the one who always gets pinned with
I
crime
love-
shit when he's the one who fucking actually breaks into my home and also fucking talks about taking hostages and steals stuff all
I
the
know
time.
it's funny,
Actual
but
fucking
happened-
criminal.
I love in that
And I
situation.
get pinned with the psychopath allegations.
I mean, you don't really help
Fuck you
yourself.
guys.
But I
Let me-
love in
let me
that
continue.
situation where you have a hostage there forced to spend time with you, but you don't talk to them, then you talk to the hostage negotiator over the radio. I find that
They're like,
entertaining.
"Don't kill me."
Yeah, but how's that better than
Yeah,
running up to someone bleeding from a stab wound? They're gonna be pissed. Scared,
Yeah, but
not
like
angry.
in time we'll laugh about it.
No, in time they're gonna call you
Okay.
an ambulance.
Okay, here's my third and last and slightly more PG. I carry around a water cooler with me.
A war cooler.
Yeah, you know, like a water dispenser. You know, like the paper cups and the. You get
Remember, you can barely
Wait,
carry around a fucking
I'm
school
imagining
bag
you
with
tying
you,
it with
or-
ropes onto
or
your
a
back, and
knapsack.
it's like Death Stranding with like a
Either-
massive
yeah,
tower
either
of
that or
packages on
like
your
I
back.
have like a dolly or something, or I put wheels on it.
Okay, explain where this is going.
I
Oh, I
where
think I
this
know where this is going,
Yeah,
actually.
It's the generic, you know, water cooler talk.
I hate you so much.
There
Turgid, you
you
know
go,
how
give
you
me-
start conversations with me is you'll send me like the most bizarre out of context image from whatever you're watching at a certain time, and then be like, "So how are you, sir?" Like the amount of messages that I go from a picture and then me being like, "What?" and then you go, "So how are you, sir?" and that's how you start
One
conversations
day you'll
with
just
me.
get a picture of me being stabbed and be like, "So how you doing?"
Being stabbed in a hostage situation with a water cooler behind you, and then you'll just say, "So how are you, sir?" That's
Yeah,
fucking.
I don't know. Like again,
I'm still
I
laughing
don't
at the
know, just
fucking water cooler. Like, you're not bringing it to give water to people. You're bringing it so
No,
other
it's
people
empty.
can just stand around.
Well, no, they can take some of the water. I don't mind that.
Do they have to pay? What happens when you run out of
No,
water?
it's a water cooler.
Yeah, but if you run out of water,
Rain,
then people
I'll
will
get
come.
More. I'll get more then.
From where? From what source? Let's say you're in the inner city. Where are you going to get your water? Or are you just going to hijack office water coolers? It's a string of heists where you just rob a water cooler from one building
I
to another.
pretend to be like the guy that comes in with the more water cooler.
And
thing,
you just replace it for an empty one.
and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just replacing these empty ones," and I take them.
Oh, that is actually kind of funny. But yeah, Turtle Guy does that to me as well with pictures and then just saying hi. So hello, sir. Turtle Guy is very cordial when he texts.
Yeah, when he speaks in real life, he like his grasp on the English language is tenuous at best. But when he's typing to you, it's literally like you're talking to the Duke of fucking Turtletown or whatever. Like in the group chat, he'll always, because we have a group chat. We are friends in real life. This isn't just a work
Yeah,
thing.
no, it's not.
He'll just drop like the most cordial shit. Like he'll call us gents all the time when we're trying to go to the movies or something. He's like, "What time, gents?
Folks, gentlemen."
This is like the
know,
fine art of conversation with
it's
Turtle
one of
Guy.
those. Like I always freak out so much when I'm texting people, especially if it's like an important thing. Like I know for a fact, and I know I'm not the only one. Whenever I'm texting like a work person, I always go into the notes thing and like I prepare that shit. It could take me an hour to send someone a text or an email.
Really?
You not so much. You people, I can just send a random image and be like, "How's tricks?"
I don't think before I text. The amount of times I've sent the wrong people messages and they're like, "Oh shit, sorry, so how are you?"
Yeah.
And then I just carry on, never send it to the wrong person. But also, there's a certain thing. It's like a little phenomenon that happens when I text Turtle Guy. It's not necessarily starting a conversation because we do this. It starts and then it ends after a couple of texts, and then we don't talk for a couple hours. But either me or Turtle Guy will go and then the other person will respond with and then the other person will respond, and then it's just a string of ahs getting longer and longer each text until someone decides to stop.
You could do it, and then I could do it like a different time. Like it's never just a you thing or a me thing. I don't know. I text I text you two very different, and I love the way.
Yeah, well, you and me, Turtle Guy, will always like we'll talk about something, and I'll send like paragraphs, and you'll respond to it like positively or negatively depending on what we're talking about. And then I'll usually say indeed or yes or something like that because
Indeed is a new thing that we just kind of started recently.
But then you'll just repeat indeed, and then I'm like, well, I don't know where to go from here. I don't. It's not a rude thing. I wouldn't know it's not a rude thing.
I'm in the exact same boat.
But I just like I don't know what to say to
I'm
this.
like, fuck.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyone got any more conversation stuff? Like we're already on a bit of a good track.
I had one there, and when I meet someone new, my first instinct is usually to Puma.
What?
To Puma.
Oh, you're gonna say Puma pants, aren't you?
Poo yourself.
Puma balls in your mouth.
and you thought the stabbing thing was bad. I thought.
It's all right, guys. I'll leave the podcast.
Yeah, leave the call, please.
Oh no, don't. Because the sounds will go. But
I don't know. I don't know how do we? So say we're about to. Like if we're recording, like we'll usually chill for an hour before we jump into it. How do those conversations start?
One of us is usually on, or two people are on, and we join and then question what the other person is doing. Or whenever I join a conversation or a party with Turtle Guy on the PlayStation, I'll sit there for a couple of seconds, and then it's as if he's not sitting near his headset. He's in like the corner of the room. I just hear like and then I know he's there.
Most of the time, I'm always on the party first, so I'm not like I don't want to sit there with my headphones on and not talk to anyone. So I won't put them on and I won't turn them on, so I'll just I'll watch something first before you come on, or I'll play something, and then because the way the PlayStation works is you'll join and I'll hear you emitting from the controller, or I could be.
Cyber always joins in with a whistling choir, like he's.
Okay, I whistle a lot. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or if you're not there quick enough, this has happened so many times actually. Cyber, I'm calling you out. I could be in the other room or away from the PlayStation, and I come there, and Cyber is about to play something, and it's like, you always do this.
No, every single time. This is not a joke. Every time I'm in the party first, I'm waiting for a while. It could be 5 minutes, it could be an hour, it could be half an hour, it could be any time in between.
One time.
It could no, but it has happened. This is the point. Any time I'll be like, okay, fuck it, they're not gonna be on for a while. I might as well put on a bit of my podcast. And the second this has happened 20 or 25 times, the second that I press play on the podcast, Turtle Guy joins. It's every single time. The second that I'm about to settle into the podcast, he just joins. And don't get me wrong,
That's
I'm not angry to see him or anything, but it's just
nothing I
am
do on
so
purpose.
much.
I'm like not. I'm not I'm not like
Telepathic.
He's hit play on the podcast. Let's fucking go. I could be sleeping. I could be eating. I could like see the notification and then, like recently, like you're like, oh yeah, let's do a recording, and I'm like, yeah, be there. Just send me a text. I fell asleep for 2 hours.
Yeah, I recorded an hour and a half video with him.
I think Turtle Guy is really bad at texting. Not in the way that like he's good at like responding quickly and stuff like that. It's more so that this is less about starting conversations and just general like conversations. But if that's okay, not to hijack your topic, Turtle Guy, I hope you're all right with this. But you will always. There's always a certain point where I know what's coming out, what's going to come next with Turtle Guy. I'll see him typing or something, and I know what's coming. And it's usually, have you watched anything recently? That's your
Yeah,
go-to.
same.
I will
Watched
say,
anything of interest lately?
Yeah, watched
It's
anything of
always
interest
your-
is exactly how
It's
he
your
words it.
go-to conversational continuum.
that is for anyone. That is even like.
Oh, I
if
know,
If I'm with anyone like a cousin or I'm at work or someone I kind of know or like a work friend or a college friend or something, that's always my go-to. Like, oh, did you do anything over the weekend? Doing anything like next week or the weekend or whatever the fuck? And then it'll be like, watch anything good lately? Those are basically my 3 pillars of conversation. And if they fail, I'm like, okay, fuck this. Or
Just
if
run
like
away.
like if it's college or work, I'll be like, oh, some class we went to, right? Or like, work is hell, huh? And then I pull out a gun. Shoot myself.
Working hard, hardly working, eh?
Oh,
But-
is that a water cooler behind you? And then the hostage
There is actually a water cooler in my break room.
That's crazy, man. I haven't seen one of those in real life in like 10 years.
I
you'll
have.
see one soon. I'll say. You'll see one real soon. Next
Wait,
time we
actually,
meet up in
there is
person.
one in my work. Yeah, actually, well, to be like, so I started a new job like 5-6 months ago. What month is it? Oh shit, let's not date the podcast. Never mind. I started a
It's
job
whatever month you're listening to this.
anytime between
Totally.
1 week ago and 400 years ago.
Full schedule, baby.
I initially I didn't really. Initially, I was in one part of the job, and then I moved to another part of the job. I was like, I don't really know anyone here. Like, I talked to a couple of people, kind of, but in kind of like a small talk way, which I fucking hate small talk. I'd rather live in silence than live in a world of small talk. It's awful.
Small
like-
talk is.
Thank God for phones.
50-50.
It's terrible. It's like,
Thank God for phones. That like.
oh my god, honestly. So I'd be listening to podcasts and shit, but it just at one point just started talking to someone about the Batman. I think the Batman had just come out, and then since then I've been able to talk to that person. It's crazy the way like turns out that they're really into comics and shit, which I obviously am as well. But it's just weird. Like you starting conversations is always like I'll never remember how I started a conversation with someone. I remember like that we started talking about that, and then it led to more of a conversation. But I never start conversations intentionally. I never go in. I don't know how to word it. Like, you know what I mean? I never go up to someone and I'm like, all right, conversation time. Hello, this is what I want to talk about. Like, I don't know. Usually I'll just do a
Yeah.
fart and then we talk about that for 4 hours.
I'm
when
kind of
I'm
the
in
opposite.
when I'm in like sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Turtle Guy, but
No, you
whenever
go.
I'm actually, to get back to the actual thing of starting conversations, the way I do it is I never just start with like hello and then just start talking. I usually either say if it's a stranger, I say a compliment or I ask a question. And both of those always just lets kind of the conversation start flowing. Because you either ask a question that you're not sure of and then you can continue the conversation. That's how I made loads of my friends in college, actually. And I think there was only one person where I ever said just hi to. And then they ended up just becoming friends. And that was because we were in like a film thing. I cannot remember for the life of me what the film was, but we were basically talking and there was no one sitting there, so then we just ended up sitting beside each other and then just shitting on the movie the entire way through. But it was just, you just need to find like questions or compliments, and then they're two things that I find people will happily start conversations to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, most of my college friends, like, I'm racking my brain. I genuinely can't remember how we became friends. Like, I know the first day we kind of did a bunch of icebreakers and stuff, and we just always like text each other, and I think that's just kind of how it basically happened. It's just we kept going to classes and stuff, and I would like to say I'm friends or like I'm talkative to most of my classmates. Like if you show up for class, you probably know who I am, and I'm probably gonna talk to you. Or if you hang
Whether
around
you
for
like it or not, Turtle Guy will make
whether
eye
you like
contact
it or
with you and
not,
T-pose
we are
as he
going
walks
to be
towards you.
friends. Yeah.
It's a threatening
Um,
present.
Work is a different kettle of fish where I'm just like, I'll talk on breaks, or maybe like, how's machine going? How are you going? Help!
I remember actually in terms of college when I was God fucking hell college, that's weird. This is years ago now. It's strange to think that this felt like a fresh memory, but it's like 4 years ago now. Again, just
Wow.
dating the podcast really quickly. But when I first started in college and like you're first talking to people, like I did a film course, so people obviously are talking about movies, and I met my closest college friend by just being like, "Oh, Jurassic Park's my favorite movie," and that pricked his ears up because it was his as well. So then we just started talking
Oh.
about that for like half an hour, and then you just move on to talking about just general shit, like general life, and
Yeah.
it's cool.
No,
It's
is.
fun.
Yeah, no.
Here's a good follow-up question, because this is something I freak out about a lot. I freak out a lot about when I have to talk to like figures of authority, when I have to ask
You
people
seem to
like
be a
questions.
nervous person when it comes to conversation.
Yeah. No, so like for you, like again, like you say, I start conversations with you two a lot, like in a weird way. I don't know, just conversations of me don't gel. If I have to talk to a figure of authority, I will freak the fuck out. Like if it's like a manager or even teachers back in the day, I'd just get like really, my voice would be really shaky and shit. Like
I used to be like
you,
that, but I think the thing
I
you
think
need to just do is just don't think of them as people. Think of them as a stepping stone to
people.
get what you want.
The
Okay.
skulls you have to stand on to rise above the others.
Is
But-
that another
but-
one of my things that makes me look like a fucking sociopath? I don't know, but maybe it is.
No.
That's a good way to do it. Is because like just because they have authority over you doesn't mean they're better than you.
But I will say, like, even in college, most of my lecturers, for the most part, bar like the older ones, like most of the lecturers I could talk to easily enough, because
Well,
number
that's
one,
the other thing.
lecturers
I
don't give a
don't-
shit, and number
Yeah.
two, like some of my lecturers are really nice, and it's basically like I could talk to them like a college friend.
Well, that's it. Like when you go to that age, when you reach the age where you're in college and you're getting like work and stuff, you start to be treated like an equal by
An
more
adult.
people. Like the difference between when you leave, like the difference between like your last year of school versus your first year of college is so striking because for the most part, people actually start talking to you like a person and not like some
Child.
fucking faceless little goon who's gonna have to listen to everything you have to say. You can't challenge anything when you're in school. You know, it's literally just like this is how things are, and you have to accept that. Whereas in college,
you gotta
you
put your
can
hand up.
get into
Go
big
toilet.
debates with your lecturer. Yeah,
Hmm.
fucking yeah, on Will Cadog and Duggy on bullshit, my guy. I fucking if I'm in college, I'm
stories I
standing
have
up,
about you
I'm
inside-
fucking pissing day in day out. Sometimes I'd get like 10 minutes into a lecture, and be like, not feeling that, and I would just leave, and I would just never go back. I'd be like,
Yeah,
fuck
it took
this.
me. It still
I'm not
takes
in
me
the
a
mood
little
to this.
long. Like it's only this year my brain clicked in of like I can leave and they're not gonna say jack shit.
Yeah, I used to leave lectures all the time. Like we used to have a particular. This is terrible. So bad. I didn't go to like any classes in my last year of college. It was crazy. To be fair, we
Oh.
didn't really have to. We just had like a dissertation to write, so mostly it was just your own things. But still, we had a particular class where we would. This is totally off topic. I apologize, but we would learn about. It was basically film theory. So you do like a particular film theory, and then you'd watch a movie to do with the film theory. And I never watched the movies. Like I'd sit for the presentation, I'd listen to what they had to say, take the notes. As soon as she was like, all right, movie's gonna start, but let's take a 5-minute break beforehand, I would not go back. I'd take my bag and I'd sit in the
No.
coffee shop and fucking fire around. Because first of all, she never finished the movie. Second of all, the movies were never good. So I would just feel like, fuck that. And I somehow did well in all the exams, even though I never to this day have seen like 95% of those movies. Wild.
Fucking hell.
Nice.
College is the best. Because you
Yeah,
don't have to
'cause-
try.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
had
I didn't really.
similar
miss-
slash almost the exact same class.
I got by on my charm and good looks alone. That's not true at all. I got
That is
I got
very-
through college by just barely getting through college. It was crazy, and I did good.
I didn't like miss kind of lectures. I would either not go to them if there was an online version available, and that was kind of it, or I'd just be there. Although I kept on getting later and later there, but I still managed to not be late because I got it timed down to a fucking T. I was able to get there like to 30 seconds before all the lectures started, so it worked
Very
out.
nice.
It worked out pretty well, but I still didn't miss
No.
any because I felt really bad, and I'm just a sucker for learning. I love learning new shit, so I just kind of liked to hear new stuff, if that makes any sense. But the fucking reading that they give you, I didn't do all of that because
Mandatory reading.
Yeah,
Mandatory is another way to say I'm not fucking doing it.
I did
I
some
don't
of
think
it. I did some
I
of
would,
it.
what I would do is I'd be like, get to the end of a lecture, and the lecturer would be like, all right, next week I want you to read these 3 pages. So I'd rock into class, and no one ever arrived on time. It was a film course, so no one had a good schedule. So none of my lecturers were ever there on time. I'd be sitting in the class waiting for the lecturer to show up, coffee in front of me. I'd skim the reading. I'd pick like one paragraph to really focus on. So when they asked a question about it, I could be like, yeah, I really felt that he nailed things in paragraph 3, and just talk about that for like 5-10 minutes. And that would be it. That's how I got through. I would do fucking... God, this is terrible. This podcast is really making me reevaluate my entire life.
That's fine.
Sorry about that. Like
This
again,
podcast is going to make me look back on my 4 years of college. Oh my god.
But hey, I'm
great.
sure
The
you
Total
started
Guy
some
episode
great
gave
conversations.
David like a
I did.
a fucking existential crisis.
Nah.
David, you're always the person. Whenever I'd see you in college, yeah, we went to college together. Fucking write that down in the lore. You'd always have such wild conversations.
With you?
Not with me, but like I'd come up to you, and yeah, that's
And you-
another awkward thing. But we're gonna skip past that. I'd come up to you and you're like chatting to your college people about the strangest of things. I don't have any examples that I can remember.
I was going to ask if you had any funny examples.
I don't know. I could have sworn one time I came up to you and you were talking about Genghis Khan.
Probably.
Probably. If not,
But see, a
one
lot of the times I'd be sitting in a group of, like, I'd go in and I would just sit whatever group. Like, because in college as well, most people just talk to each other unless you have, like, a really big course. But mine was only, like, 30 people, so everyone knew each other. And I'd just go in, I'd sit with whoever was there. And it was usually I'd get stuck talking to the people who, like, I didn't want to talk to.
Oh
And it
no!
was just, they'd be sitting there talking about shit, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking awful. I was waiting for my actual friends to come in. I was like,
Or
I
me.
can't hear this shit. Or you. But yeah, you are my friend, you fucking idiot.
Yeah! Get that on a t-shirt. There you go. There's the merch.
You
already
are my
pumped.
friend, you fucking idiot. And then just a thumbs up picture of David and Pearly
You
Cup
and
PNG. But just to kind of call back to what you were saying earlier, I think I'm the complete opposite when it comes to figures of authority. I can speak for days to people. Like, I can speak to people older than me. I can speak to more talented people than me. I can speak to people with more physical and mental and political power than me. All day. I don't have any problem speaking to like managers or bosses or lecturers or teachers or the fucking president. I don't care. I'll talk to them. I'll rap for them. But when it
Yeah.
comes to members of my own family, sometimes I don't know what the fuck goes on in my head. But sometimes I'm like, I can't speak.
No, I am the polar opposite.
It's
Like,
people
members
that
of
I
my
know
family,
well. I
like,
find harder to speak to.
Argo now. Bring me here, please. Oh, please.
I don't
now.
like talking to my family either. Not like my actual family, like my parents, my sister and shit. I mean, like, when cousin Steve rocks in, some 14-year-old kid, like, do you think I want to sit down and have a chat with this fucker? I do in my shite when I... And if you want to talk about starting conversations there, I don't. I simply don't. If they talk to me, I will pretend to listen, and then when they leave the room, I'll grab 4 chicken tenders off the fucking family plate and then find a different room to be in. And fucking... Honestly, getting to the age where... This is going to be a... by the end of this, by like 20 episodes into this podcast, it's going to be a compilation of me talking about... Like, it's going to make it look like I'm the worst person on the planet. But getting to the age where I could drink at family events was a life-changing experience. Because I could just hang out with all the fun uncles. By the way, none of my two of my favorite uncles are not even related to me. They're my dad's friends. And I'm like, they're my
That's
uncle.
cool.
I go drink with them. I don't want to fucking talk to my actual family. They stink. I'm coming after you, family. If you're listening to this podcast, you figured out who I am. You're Grass.
Figure it out. Like, you don't have a code name, David.
Well, he does
Yeah,
kind of.
it's border. It's like 2 syllables off my full name.
They're gonna figure out.
But I have, gentlemen, if it's all right with ye, that inspired me for a question related to the original topic that I may pitch to you.
God bless you for trying to keep us on topic, by the way.
Well, it's Turtle Guy's job. I'm just, I had an idea.
Oh, I'm liking where the conversation's going, but pick your question.
Just David said that he didn't want someone to start conversations. Have any of you ever been in an experience where someone started a conversation with you in a really weird way or really bad way that you just hated abysmally?
Not really. I'm kind of the opposite. Like in work, I'll be like, right, one conversation and then I'm done, so that it makes me look sociable enough. That's how my brain works. I'm like, right.
Oh,
if I
God
have
bless
one
you for
conversation-
trying a lot harder than I ever did.
I will do
I-
like one conversation, and then people like whenever I like I leave work, and there'll be like a going away party. The people will be there. They won't be there for me, of course, but they'll be like, yeah, he sure worked here and talked to me once, and I'm like, good job, good luck, goodbye.
I have.
No, Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead quickly, because
Mine's not too quick. So mine's not too long. I'm talking about the thing I'm about to say on my. Anyway,
Yeah, carry on.
This wasn't me, but it was at a party I was at, and I saw it happen, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Actually, I've got two. This is the same person. I won't name them, obviously, but they were my old roommate, and I think I've talked to you, Turtle Guy, about him before, but he's a bit of a strange kid, and he was terrible at talking to people. And so one time we were at a party, and he was sitting next to this guy, and you know when you see something almost happen in slow motion where you're like, oh no, you can see the outcome coming before it happens.
Kind
So
of.
he sits down next to him, and he kind of taps him on the shoulder. He goes, "Hey man, excited for the new Sonic game?" And I was like, "What the fuck? This is how you're own." And then the other guy goes, "I don't play games, just Pokemon. Sorry." And then stood up and left, and I was like, "Oh my Jesus
At least
Christ!"
you play Pokemon though.
He does play
Yeah,
Pokemon, but he didn't
what a
stick
way
around
to
to talk
phrase-
about Pokemon.
What a weird way to phrase it. I don't play games, but I do play Pokemon. Is
Well, no,
Pokemon
Pokemon's
not a
no,
game?
so sorry.
It's a lifestyle.
The context before that, we had been talking about Pokemon.
Oh.
So it's not like it was an uncalled for question. It was just weird the way he kind of barged in, because it was just awkward to watch. The other thing, and this isn't really a conversation, but it was more so one time, and I wasn't there for this, so I have to figure out how to word this. One time there was a party at my apartment when I wasn't there,
I'd
and
love to see it.
I guess this counts as starting a conversation, but more so, well, I'll explain it and you'll see what I mean. So there was a group of people there, and there was this girl there who came in, and she was like, "Oh, show me around the apartment, someone." And my roommate, leapt to his feet very excitedly at the prospect of speaking to a girl. Like, he's one of those guys.
Oh no.
And brought her around the different apartments and stuff. Anyway, it gets to the end of the tour, I guess. And she turned to someone else and goes, "Who was that?" To the guy who'd just been showing around the apartment the whole time. But then,
Oof.
like, not even that long later, like a couple weeks later, there was another party at the apartment. We were talking to this person, and she was asking about who lived in the apartment or whatever. And we started talking about my roommate. He wasn't there at the time. And she goes, "Oh, I don't think I ever met him." And I was trying so hard not to laugh. It was so bad. I was like, oh. So anyway, that's kind of, it wasn't like it was a conversation, I guess, but it was like more of an introduction that was super awkward. And
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't a good impression. And it's so funny. And also, I was talking to that person again like a month ago, and she still didn't remember him. It's hilarious.
Okay,
God.
it's so
ain't-
funny.
that ain't good.
I must
It's
actually
I mean, it's
say,
bad, but it's so funny.
because it is somewhat relatable.
Fucking bad though. Oh, I love that stuff.
I love David's college friends. I find them like in terms of the topic of conversations, I find them so easy to talk to.
Oh yeah,
you
big
just
time.
sit down and you could be talking to someone else, and then I just start up a conversation with them, and it's good times.
Hmm.
Yeah, they like you too.
Again, because certain
I've only
things
met
I
them,
get
like,
so
twice.
awkward around.
They like you too. Everyone likes my friends. 'Cause
Hey.
I wouldn't be friends with people I didn't like.
That's nice to
Wait.
hear.
Yeah, that's the only compliment you're getting out of me. Anyway, sorry, you go
That's
ahead with
fine.
your.
But no, speaking of I don't actually. I have no idea. There's no easy way to segue to this. But there was one
There's
person
no
that
easy
I
way
got
to say this.
introduced towards the end. Well, no, towards 3/4 of the way of through the college year. I decided to join the snooker club for literally no reason.
Snooker. Oh,
Yeah.
I've been raging me about snooker now.
Why is that so funny?
Because that's the most random fucking club you could have joined.
I wanted to get better at it, okay? I was
Snooker
no.
club?
The reason I did it is because there was some people that I knew that went to it, so I just thought I might as well fuck it. And then while this was going on, my little fucking 11-year-old cousin. No, he's fucking 10. He was beating the shit out of me with pool and snooker. He was like, I was missing everything, and he was fucking one-shotting everything. I couldn't believe it, and he
Were
lords it
you
over to me.
holding the pool cue right?
No, I was gonna. Yeah, I don't know. I was missing them anyway, and then I'd pop it, and then I managed to hit the ball off the fucking table. But anyway, that doesn't matter. That's the reason I was going to do this. I was going to get better at snooker and
To
pool.
beat the shit out of your cousin.
No, no, Star Wars style with the pool cues. No, no, I wanted to get better. And while I was there, I think it was the first day that I went down. Actually,
Your little cousin was there, like he's the big champ. He's like
No.
he's the pimp.
he was on a throne.
He's the pimp chimp of the snooker hall.
Well, no, but also the snooker hall in this college is literally in the basement, beneath one of the accommodation blocks. So you have to go down these really shady looking stairs where the light literally fucking flickers, and then you need to get a key card that you only get if you join the club. Swipe it, go through the darts room, swipe it again, and then you go into the pool. And also, it's really shady. You have to pay, you don't pay for the pool, but you pay for the lights above it. And according to the rules, you're not allowed to play pool unless the lights above are on for safety reasons.
What?
Quote unquote.
you, I wanna
It's
play
really
pool.
weird. You
fuck?
pay per 15 minutes, and I don't know about you, but fucking snooker and pool matches both go on for way
Yeah,
longer
pool
than
never
15
lasts
minutes.
15 minutes. What the fuck?
But
No,
that's
snooker
probably
maybe,
because I'm
I don't
playing
know.
with other
Both
people.
confused.
that are
One
like
time,
me.
me and my friend, my roommate, not that roommate, my actual friend roommate, I'll call him the American. Me and him had a 120-minute, 2-hour pool game, and by
Nice.
like an hour and a half in, like we'd potted maybe 2 balls each. It was the worst game of pool I've ever played in my life.
I've gotten
don't
actually
mind
better at
playing
it
games of
since, but I'm
pool,
still
you
not
think.
great. But anyway,
It's a tough one.
I was with one of my friend groups there who usually goes there, and then while I was going in, they said, "Oh, hey, there's this guy. There's this guy. He just met us one day, and he loves photography, and he's a bit interesting. So just say hi."
It's a bit interesting.
I think that's literally
A
how
little
they
bit.
worded it. But I walked down, and then there was this guy, and we're going to call him Matt. I don't think his name was Matt, but we're going to call him Matt anyway.
I don't know his name.
It
dude.
turns out I met Matt 2 years ago on like the open day for the college, and spoke. We had got coffee, and we were talking about Warhammer, but I completely forgot his existence until I
You're
seen him
about
again.
to say war stories, and I'm like, the
No,
fuck?
but anyway, he introduced himself again, and I introduced myself again because we both kind of had really shitty memories. But yeah, he was like, "Hi, my name's Matt. Cool. Do you want to play some pool with you? Just to let you know, I'm colorblind." And I was like, "Okay."
playing fucking pool?
Listen, I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And then he didn't actually play pool. He just stood and watched for a bit. But then eventually, it was like after half an hour, he's like, "Oh, do you mind if I go? Have a go?" And it's like, "Oh, yep, sure." And then I gave him the pool cue, and then he played, and then we kept going, and then he started winning, and then I was getting a little bit okay, and then I kept going, and then it got to a point where I stopped, and I looked up at him, and then I was like, "Hang on. If you're colorblind, how are you exclusively hitting the right balls?" And it turns out the first thing he said to me, he lied. He wasn't actually colorblind. So that was
What a
the
fucking champ. Can we
introduction
get him on
to
the
that
podcast?
guy. I don't
Come
know.
on, Matt on the pod.
Yeah, no, he just apparently he introduces every new person he meets in the pool club. Apparently, that's how he introduces himself. He says that he's
What a
colorblind,
fucking fib.
and
You've
then
inspired me to. This is a new method. I don't need to get pretending to be stabbed with a water cooler. Hi, I'm Turtle Guy. I have one leg, and they'll look and they'll see that I clearly have 2 legs, and then like I'll just continue, but I'll change it up each time. Like, hi, I'm Turtle Guy. I'm a talking donkey.
no, but yeah, I think it ended up as a draw because we ran out of change to pay for the lights. But yeah, he caught a
Was
couple other
this
people
still
in the group with
Enforcer,
that,
like-
and I don't think he used to pal around then for a couple, like maybe 2 weeks, and then he disappeared. The last we ever heard of him was that he set up the photography club, and the photography club only ever had one meeting, and then it disappeared again. So I have no
Why do
idea.
clubs that go that way in college?
We
as well?
could talk. That's
have
a whole
no
other
idea what
topic.
happened.
We could talk about dead societies.
Dead Poet Societies.
Hey!
I've never seen it.
I am a founding member of an award-winning society. I'll have you know.
Ooh.
I'm a founding member of the We Hate Turtle Guy fan club, and weirdly, Turtle Guy signed up for it. I think he might be slightly dyslexic.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I was a
speaking
little
of,
annoyed when you told me there's only one turtle guy allowed, and there was already one there. Yeah.
yeah, it was a strange one. But it was the guy from Cause Famous, so
Yeah, he's a pretty good turtle guy.
I liked him personally.
Need to meet that guy. Really need to. I need to start up a conversation with that turtle guy.
Well, maybe we'll
Have
get
you
him on
ever
the podcast
started
at
up
some
a
point.
conversation about YouTube Cyber?
Yeah, with a couple people. Like that's how I got like interviews with Krudikov Music and Alex from
Those are
Cyclone
emails,
and
no?
Toad Smoothie. Yeah, but
And
like,
how did
we'd
you
still good
how did you
conversations.
approach those?
I was just like, hey, my name's Cyberprime. I'm a variety content creator, and then I'd tailor the rest of it depending on what kind of collab that I was hoping to try and do. And then everyone that I ended up talking to, usually, even if they couldn't do videos, all the ones I ended up talking to were really nice and really, really nice to get on with. So yeah, I was very lucky in that regard. So far, YouTube as like a community, and people are very open so far, and like they're very nice and helpful to kind of give you advice and do collaborations. And so far, maybe I've just been accidentally picking all of the best people on the planet, which could be possible, but so far everyone is very nice and easy
Yeah,
to talk to. So
The two things I'll say: Cyber has this great ability of just palling around with the nicest of people, and the other thing is we were discussing this. I think it was the other day, but like we were going through all the Cyberprime comments, and there's very few bots or like hate
anymore.
comments.
There used to be a lot more before I purged some of them, but yeah.
Oh, you purged them.
Yeah.
I was wondering where my comments went.
No, there was some that were like giving advertisements for like click here if you're lonely and stuff like that.
Here
So
to
I
see
got
my
rid of them.
boobies.
Some of them were very blunt actually, but yeah, they weren't very good conversation starters. If I'm being honest, but yeah, what do you think about ending conversations? I don't mean to steal it. Fuck, this is Turtle Guy's job. Sorry, Turtle Guy, you should
No,
steal
no.
the
You're
conversation.
you're pulling out some good stuff. Ending conversations is hard, even with like you and David. Whenever I'm texting, like when the conversation is ran dry, like I think even David will attest to this. Sometimes I'm like, so how you been? Good.
Yeah,
Good. How
yeah.
you been?
But I
Good.
always read them the same way. I always read them as you going, so how you been? That's how I always read it.
Reverts to that energy every time.
Yeah,
But
again,
there's nothing that I fucking hate more, right? Like, I'd rather you just end the conversation by punching me in the face. There's nothing I hate more than when you get to when you run into somebody you kind of knew, or maybe you used to be friends with, or you went to school with, or whatever, and you kind of have like a little quick catch up. This is again going back to small talk, and the conversation, it kind of goes to like,
I have a great story.
it kind of goes to like,
oh yeah.
yeah. And then there's like a pause, and it goes. So anyway, I should probably get going. I fucking hate that like pause into so anyway. It
Yeah.
makes me want to jump into a
I
vat
did
of
that
acid.
recently
I would.
to someone.
No, I totally relate to that. But
I was like, oh boy, gotta go. I have a hot stuff coming through.
and then he just took off his clothes and then paraded down. But that reminded me of a story that I had. One of my dogs got cut while it was in the groomers a while ago.
And
So
you
I had to be brought to the
Bursted
vet.
into the groomers.
He didn't end the conversation that day. He ended a fucking life. That vet no longer lives.
No, everything's fine. But they had to get stitches, and it's all right. But when I was taking my dog to get the stitches out, I through the window as I was pulling up, I was like, hey, do I recognize that person? I feel like I should recognize that person. I cannot place them. And then
Was it
when I went into the vets, they said hi, and that's where I kind of shat myself because like I don't remember you. And then I said hi, and then it was only after I said hi I realized, oh shit, I went to school with you. I do remember your existence. Because I have a really bad memory sometimes with people. But I was about to get into small talk, and they were like saying, hey, how's things? And I was saying, oh, it's good. How are you doing? And then before it could progress any further, My dog thought it was the perfect moment, the perfect conversation starter to hunch up on the floor, looking me dead in the eye, an inch away from the carpet, and just shat himself straight in the vet's office on the floor. He was walking outside on the garden for like 5 minutes before I brought him in. He knew what he was doing, because this is not the first time he shat in that room.
That's the perfect way to end the conversation.
No, but yeah, he shat.
And then fucking...
And then I was like standing there, I was like, I'm sorry? And then I just stood in silence for the next minute and a half before the vet was ready, because how do you continue a conversation?
Did you remove the poop?
No, they had to come and do it, because of hygiene reasons, even though I offered to do it. So yeah, I did that, brought him in to the vet,
I don't care what you
then
say.
the vet took out the stitches, and then I waved goodbye and left very quickly. But yeah,
That's bizarre.
He marked his territory.
One thing I will say in regards to starting conversations, or at least the first while I was at my job. So, I'm a theater person. I am big famous actor person. Well, not big famous, but I do acting. And
Indeed.
no one at my work, there was people that was like, "You're an actor?" Like, I'd be incredibly quiet / I don't want to talk to people. Like, there's a few people at my work I will talk to. And, like, again, it's just if I start a conversation, like, one conversation, that's fine. Or, like, oh, how are you doing? Or, fuck, I need help with this. That's it. Like, there's a few people I will talk to because, like, we like the same films, or they're just nice people to talk to. I'll talk to them all the time. But there's other people, and they're like, oh, why are you doing? You're like, he's a bit quiet for an actor.
Oh, there's a spider
No.
on my bed.
Oh, God. It's not that I'm
Start
a
a
bit
conversation
quiet.
with it.
It's just I don't talk to you, sir. Because there's another person in my work. He's like, oh, I'm an actor. Oh. And person they think so high and mighty of themselves. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time, this is technically starting a conversation. I was lifting like a big stack of stuff into the place. And he stops me. And I'm like lifting this big heavy stuff to a spot. And he's like, to be or not to be? And I'm just like, yeah, this is actually an example of like the cringy thing. And I'm just like, the fuck? It's like, so there was two options, and to this day, I still fucking. I wish I had a time machine. There's two answers I could have said. I could have been like, aha, what do you think that's from? Because you know, I'd studied Shakespeare. I know it's from Hamlet.
Yeah, close.
It's from Hamlet.
Yeah.
Ooh. So
That would have been embarrassing.
there was two ways I could have done it. I could have asked what Shakespeare is that from, or go on, because that's a full monologue.
Oh, it
There's
is,
more
yeah.
to that. I went with option one. What's it from? And he says Hamlet, and I'm like, fuck. Should have went with option two,
Whether
because
it is
no one
nobler
knows
in
the
the
rest of that.
mind than the body to
Yeah,
die on a fuck. I can't
that
remember. I
is the
used to have that
question.
memorized.
Oh yeah, so did I.
Ew.
No, I used to have a load of that because I studied Hamlet, and I had a lot of that memorized. I studied Hamlet in college.
Oh, really?
Like
Yeah.
yeah. So did I. What a
I didn't.
guy.
What a guy! I fucking hate
What
it.
a
It's so
guy.
boring. Macbeth is my favorite Shakespeare one so far.
Oh, this is definitely completely off the topic. You want a good Hamlet? Look up David Tennant doing Hamlet.
Oh,
What a guy.
That is, yeah, no, that's fair.
But you don't need to if you don't want to. David Tennant plus Shakespeare, good times.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm curious. It's never really happened to me. Like, I've never met a famous person, and I always live in the fear of, like, if I see a famous person, how would I start a conversation
I've spoken
with
to
them?
Michael Giacchino.
Again, we've discussed, Cyber, you were the person that would talk to God and be like, there I have
Yes.
some questions!
Cyber could have a fucking theological debate with a brick wall and come out more inclined from it. Like you genuinely can talk to everyone. I met James Marsters from Buffy.
Whoa.
That was at
oh,
a
yeah.
Comic-Con, so it kind of like
If
the
you didn't
conversation.
talk to him, it'd be awkward.
Yeah, like the conversation starts when you walk up, and it's like, oh yeah, we know why I'm here. But he wrote a comic, so I had his comic, so I had him sign that, and we just started talking about that. So that was easy.
That was
I think a
really
lot
cool.
of the times it's the best way to start a conversation. I think you said it, Cyber, but I'll just piggyback off what you said. If you want to start a conversation with someone, very quickly find one thing, either like based on where you are or what they have, or if they have something in their hand or something like that, and start the conversation based on that.
Yeah.
and you go from there.
Nice.
Don't go
That's
up.
a nice
Never
knife
go
you
up and
got
just
there.
say hello, because then you're drowning.
Yeah, then you
But, like,
immediately
I-
started
I-
with small talk.
Yeah, exactly. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Like one of my friends used to describe me as introverted, but I think the difference between me is it's not necessarily that I'm introverted. It's just that I don't like people that much, and I don't want to have to talk to them a lot of the time. And a lot of the times, I'll be stuck in a conversation with someone, and either the conversation will grow boring to me, or the person will grow boring to me. It's like, I'm fucking sick of looking at you right now, and that's when I'm like, how do I end the conversation? What's the best way to end a conversation? I'll tell you what it is. I need to piss. Back in a minute, and you never come back. That's how you end the conversation.
It does work. Thankfully,
The amount
with,
of
like,
people
social
I've been
media-
talking to in pubs that are still waiting to finish their conversations about things I don't care about.
They're still
Never
there.
happening, bro.
They're
Like,
still
I'll be like,
there.
oh, just gotta go piss, be back, never even piss. I go get another drink, and suddenly I'm talking to someone else. It's
Yeah, wait,
wild.
hold on. How do you? Okay, so clearly you wouldn't go to the toilet. Otherwise, you got a situation of like, crap. It's either out the toilet or fucking wait until he leaves.
No, I never actually go to the toilet. But the problem is, usually when I use that excuse, I don't have to go. And if I go to the toilet then, and then I have to actually go, and I go like 10 minutes later, they're gonna think something's up. More importantly, they might think I have a kidney disease, and then they'll try and talk to me about that. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't have a kidney disease. I just
And
don't
then
like you.
And then what'll happen is like, hey, you should get your prostate checked, and you're like, oh yeah, sometime. And then he
And then they
reveals,
pull out
well,
latex
actually,
gloves.
I'm
And I'm
a
like,
doctor.
no, we're at the pub.
Anywhere else is a different story, but not the pub.
Yeah.
The pub is
He puts
sacred.
a glove
Wait
on
until we
and
get to the
then you
nightclub
hear
at least. But no, it's just fucking ending conversations is the worst. My friend actually got stuck in a conversation with one of my college friends. Well, not college, someone I went to college with.
Oh.
And he got stuck in a conversation. So my friend did an engineering course,
Ooh.
and it was a mechanical engineering course. But the other guy from my college, I'm going to need a way to differentiate them. So let's call them the engineer and the fish. So the engineer has got stuck in a conversation with the fish, and the fish heard mechanical engineering, but stopped listening when he heard the word mechanic, and so started asking him about cars. And the mechanical engineer knows nothing about cars, like, at all. It's not what his course was about. And he was there for 15 minutes listening to the fish talk about cars. And this guy actually did have to piss. And he kept trying to go, but the fish kept grabbing him by the shoulder and pulling him back.
Oh
And you're like,
no!
hang on a minute now,
Oh,
what
that
are you
is
supposed to say?
awkward.
And it's the worst. And he was too polite because he didn't really know him enough to be like, get the fuck, go away. I'm gonna piss my pants.
Yeah,
So
I
he
have
was-
had times like that.
Eventually he
where-
got away, but I think he actually ended up grabbing. My favorite tactic, and he did this as well. When you're stuck with someone, it works best when you're out because they're usually the people you get stuck with are the ones who've had too much to drink, so they don't realize themselves. So it's so easy to, if they're in the middle of a conversation, pick a buzzword they're talking about, turn to your other friend and say, "Oh yeah, well my friend loves this person here." Or this thing, and then push them onto them and leave. That's what I do. I'll always put it onto
The
someone else.
sacrifice.
Oh, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny.
I don't really have any other major things about like strange conversations. Like I remember the first college friend of yours I met was in a pub. Oh, okay. This is the last story I have.
Yeah,
But,
I had one, but I left my
met-
head. I can't remember what it was.
This is the first time I met any of your college friends, and you brought them up to a local pub of ours. That was the day I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna ask a girl to the dibs, which is kind of like
I
starting
remember
a
that.
conversation.
I
Oh,
remember that this
remember
happened. I
that.
don't remember any of the details.
Yeah,
So I was.
that was at the engineer's birthday, I believe.
You're right.
Just team.
Anyway, so short version was like I was trying to hype myself up. Then your college friend, he was like, he was very drunk at the time, or he was getting there, and he was giving me like this great monologue and this great hype up, and I go up. She's with a bunch of friends, so already it's a bad idea. I think I do it in front of her, which isn't even in front of her and the friends.
Well,
And
obviously,
I
you don't, how do you do it without being in front of her? You just stand in the corner and scream.
I become a ghostly apparition. But anyway, I say it to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." And I I don't know. Did I ask her and then immediately fucking book it out the door and went home? I don't think I did.
I
I
don't
doubled
remember.
back, and then I went home. And then, of course,
I don't think you
I
ever
got
told
like
me.
a big long thesis of a text, basically like, thanks, but no, why not ask someone else? And I'm like, great, beautiful.
The worst. But you were a goat for doing it.
Exactly,
a
you
goat for
followed your
doing that.
dreams.
Followed my dreams, and ain't that all you can do in life? And I think it's on that note. There's probably a lot more we could talk about, like conversations and how to start a
Yeah,
conversation
I
and
had
all
one,
that
but it's
lovely
gone. I
stuff.
had such a good good story, but it's left my head. Maybe we can
Well,
return to this one day.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to try and
maybe.
end this
But
conversation.
it's at this, yeah, it's at this note where all of us, and especially David, are in the need for a piss. So we'll end this conversation and this
Wait,
episode.
what?
Oh, I thought you were. I was wrong with you, but now I get it.
Oh,
No joke, I do actually can. I would like to look at the bathroom right now.
that's because of all the water you've been drinking from your handheld water cooler that you've had at your side.
Exactly. But it's on this note we will end this episode, this Turtle Guy hosted episode of the podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, or follow the podcast on whatever thing you're listening to us. Be sure to follow Dave Kivo's channel, whatever one. Be sure to follow Cyber's channel, whatever one he has. I don't know. Yeah. So, check us out on all the social medias and stuff. And podcast over. I don't know how to work this machinery. David did it so well the last time. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you just have to kind of say goodbye.
Goodbye then.